It's another time for you to take five. Take five for foodies. And if you're not a foodie, well, then this is not only the wrong show, but this may be the wrong city. This is certainly the wrong guest. Nikki Buchanan, I have known you for 137 years as of March. You've written for newspapers and magazines and still are as a really, really well-known, highly respected food critic, which causes everybody to say, how do I get that job?
Yeah, it does. Hard to come by these days.
Well, how did you get the job, the first one?
Oh, way back in the day, that was New Times, and they actually ran a contest. If you remember, Ellen Jeffords had written for the New Times and left there to go to the Republic, and Mike Lacey was scared to death and ran a contest. And I applied. I was actually living in Long Beach, but I was here to do some work for a job I had with Texas Instruments, and I heard an ad on the radio that said, do you know about food? And I said, yes. Can you write? Yes. Are you funny? Yes. And I thought, I'm doing this. So I applied.
And nobody ever wanted to take a chance on going someplace that Mike Lacey would recommend. And so that's one of the reasons why Nikki Buchanan was very, very important. You know what? We're doing a little different thing here because Nikki doesn't own a restaurant like my previous guests. Nikki is not here to concentrate on reviewing a restaurant, because we kind of do that as we have the restaurateurs on. Nikki and I are going to be talking about centennial things. We're going to be talking about history. We're going to be talking about the great restaurants and restaurant personalities over the years. First one you think of that was successful and is no longer here?
Well, he's still here, but I think of Lee Cohen. When I want to think of a big name or people that have influenced us, I think of Big Four. In the 70s and 80s, when my consciousness about restaurants first came.
Yeah, but a lot of folks right now are saying, I don't know the names of people.
Oh, you want to talk about a restaurant?
Well, I want to talk, any of the restaurants that Lee Cohen had, because Big Four had a bunch of them.
Yes. There are so many I would think of. For me as a kid growing up here, the biggest treat in the world was to go to the original Trader Vic's.
Yeah, the original Trader Vic's was different, and a good idea that the people had in Scottsdale at the hotel to have a Trader Vic's. But somehow it just never was the same.
Didn't translate, did it?
No.
Even though I love Chuck Wiley and the food was good, but that original one was so exotic. It was like being off in another world.
You didn't mind drinking past the umbrellas, because once you got past the umbrellas, were those tropical drinks good, huh?
And potent.
Willie and Guillermo's.
Oh my gosh! Oh. See, you're going to pull some out of the hat I had totally
No, I just happen to think of it. It's
yeah.
one of those places. It's one of those places that people who have been here for a long time remember.
Etienne's.
All right. Now, here you're talking about a French restaurant that really captured the true spirit of France. And Monsieur Etienne there kissing the hand when the ladies came in, and only the ladies.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank heavens.
And here was this statuesque French guy. It was truly a French experience, as was Chez Louie.
Right. That's right. That was our other really big name. And then later, and one of my favorites, La Chaumière.
Oh, I'd forgotten about them.
Remember the cute little house?
But now, have those been unsuccessful, or did these finally close because Phoenix wasn't ready for French dining yet?
I think we had that era where French dining was still, before the 80s, French dining was what we did besides the steakhouse, when we wanted to dress up and go out. And then the 80s hit and American food was big, and French went a little bit on the decline. I would give anything to have La Chaumière back.
Yeah,
right?
But we now have
Or
a variety of French restaurants,
right.
And certainly Vincent has been doing his own take.
And Christopher.
On French dining and French cuisine for a long time. This is a really, really good place, I think. I think it's a good restaurant town. And it used to be that, well, Mexican food, of course, was not considered foreign.
Well, it's still not.
No, because it's
our
every
food.
other block.
Right.
But Chinese restaurants. Anyone in particular that you remember?
Of those old
The
ones,
Chinese
like
restaurants.
Chinese. Oh,
China Lil's.
that's the one I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that was a big one. And, well, we used to actually go to, I think it still exists, Phoenix Palace, right?
Certainly it exists. Monty's La Casa Vieja still exists.
Still exists.
In fact,
Going strong.
that Monty wants to be the mayor of Tempe now. The
Michael.
Stockyards under different management.
Right.
That's been there for a long time.
Durant's.
And
I
Durant's,
love the ones that make it. You know, it's so cool that we're not a very old town, but so for us to have a restaurant that's been around 50 or 60 years, that's a long time.
Is there a restaurant personality that you miss that is no longer either with us or no longer in the restaurant business?
Roxanne Skokos would be one.
Oh, okay. Now, just say, well, Roxanne makes my heart beat just with the memories of this extraordinary menu from Korea and Russia and Mongolia and Britain and unbelievable. And you say, how can anybody possibly do anything that well? And she did. And besides that, she was cute.
Carol
Roxanne,
Steele?
Oh, yeah. And C. Steele is now with her own kind of
B&B down in
the little
Aravaipa.
village, the B&B, right, Aravaipa, and she still serves great food. Now, some of the restaurateurs now that are hot now, that deserve to be hot now, are highlighted in a very special book that you have. You're part of this, right?
Yes.
Okay, just park that right up here.
Okay. Yep. My girlfriend Margo Kessler of MMPR, Margo Media, you know, she does marketing PR, encouraged me to help her with this. Michelle Lottig, who was formerly with New Times, a really wonderful critic at New Times, she enlisted her and then her own staff, and we worked on this book last fall.
100 chefs, 100 years, 100 chefs, 100 recipes. I've got to tell you, I went through this page by page by page, and I'm assuming it's in bookstores.
I think she's trying to get it in Barnes & Noble right now. You can also go to this website that's 100 Years, 100 Chefs, 100 Recipes. Some of the restaurants that are featured in the book will also be carrying it, but probably the safest way for now is to go to this website. But I know she's looking to, as interest is growing in it, people have been saying, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's so nice, and people are thrilled about it. So I think it's going to turn up in a lot more
And
places.
I didn't even know you were going to bring this. I just thought we were going to be talking about history.
But
and
this
now,
is so filled
well,
with
and now we're talking about the people who will be talked about in 100 years to come. Before we have to go, because we've run out of time.
Okay.
Nikki Buchanan, the most exciting new restaurant that you can think of right now in town.
Haven't been yet, but I want to go to Shinbei.
Oh, I've heard, quickly you know about the food.
Well, at Shinji Kurita, he's just an absolute, you know, perfectionist about everything he does, very traditional Japanese, and I'm dying to go because it's going to be, like, phenomenal.
Shinbei, Nikki Buchanan says, because you can pick your own eel. And you know what? You can pick out this program all the time on KTAR.com because it's Take 5 for Foodies. Aren't you glad you came? Without reservations.